All right, this is 3.6. I'm going to keep the calculator over here and just kind of read over through this with you for today's video. So 3.6 says, you may have additional deductions taken from your gross pay for union dues, contributions to community funds, savings plans, and so on. The earnings statement attached to your paycheck lists all of your deductions, your gross pay, and your net pay for the pay period. So we've talked a little bit about that net pay. Sometimes people call it take-home pay. So you've got the gross pay, the description, the current amount, and then all the taxes and deductions. So the federal income tax we've talked about, the state income tax, Social Security tax, Medicare. So your net pay is really pretty not what you might expect. So we're taking away 2325.92 minus each of these deductions. Okay, so we could write it out here. Eventually I'm going to have to put it on the calculator. But it's just the take-home pay piece. So again, you've got 2325.92, take away 103.60, take away 116, oopsies, oh yeah, I'm good, minus 144.21, minus 33.73. All right, so we have 1928.08 as your net pay. So you might have heard me say that I take about 2/3 home of my paycheck. So if we looked at 1928.08 and divided it by the gross pay of 2325.92, 2325.92, you would get about 83%. So a couple more of my deductions are union dues. I put in a little bit extra for my pension, and what else is a biggie that we're going to talk about? I don't know, I can't think. But that's about how much of your check, in this particular case, that this person is bringing home. All right, so the next one is 1413 that we're starting with. Take away 239.60. Take away 70.65. Take away 87.61. Take away 20.49. This is an odd of that. So on my calculator, I'm going to hit 1413 minus 239.60 minus 70.65 minus 87.61 minus 20.49. Enter. So I will have a take home of $994.65. $994.65. Okay, so that's not too bad. On the other side is another earnings statement. Okay, so I might just pause for a minute, or you can pause the video now and just make sure that you're, subtracting everything correctly on your own calculator and doing that. So your net pay is your gross $1529.60, take away federal income tax, take away state income tax, take away city income tax, Social Security. When you get gas, obviously you know all the taxes. There's usually a city tax, a county tax, state, and sometimes federal. It's insane. Medical and union dues. Okay, so another, I did forget about a city income tax, a Social Security you may or may not have on yours, but medical and union dues, I know I've mentioned a couple times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deductions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deductions. So pause the video for a minute, just make sure your ducks are in a row, and then I'll kind of treat this like a cooking show and just write it next. Okay, so your net pay after you subtract all that would be $1,208.82. $1,208.82. So if you want to see it, it's $1,529.6, take away 86.8, take away 76.48, 10.48, 94.84, 22.18, and 30. Alrighty. So now we're going a little bit backwards here. Find the missing deductions and the net pay. All right. The Social Security tax rate is 6.2% of the first $118,500. The Medicare tax rate is 0.045. We're going to use the tables. Hopefully that's getting to be really easy by now. Betsy Cole, a harbor boat pilot, is married and claims 1 allowance. Okay, so this is what like her pay stub looks like. So it kind of looks fancy. Her name, the check number, the week ending, whatever. Here's her gross pay, and then they'll list your net pay, okay, which we're going to figure out right now. The deductions for the federal income tax, we're going to go to that infamous table. Okay, let's see if I've got one handy here. I should, but I don't know. Let's see. Okay. All right, so she is married. Okay, so we're going to go to the married page. Okay, and her weekly gross pay is $629. So I'm going down to $629. Okay, which puts me right here. All right, let me lock this for a second. And she claims 1 allowance. So 0 allowance, 1 allowance. So that is 40. Okay, so I go back to my paper, and that is the federal income tax. So if you haven't already, maybe put yourself, like, use the table for federal. The state tax was given. The city tax, I don't have to figure out. The Social Security tax is 0.062 of the first 118,000. Well, we don't have to worry about that. Her gross is $629. This is something, I guess, though, if that is a weekly pay, you would have to work out her gross for the year. So because she gets paid $629 each week, you do have to figure out that her gross is not going to come close to $118,000. So I did sort of just mention that, like, in passing. But anyways, so you're taking 0.062, though, times just her weekly. That was just to see if she had reached 118,000. All right, clear. So I'm doing this calculation. 0.062 times, I'm going to hit times on here, 629. So that is $38.99, and this 0.99, okay, the 8 rounds this up. That rounding up a 9 to a 10 rounds this up, okay? So this is going to be $39 even. So this is going to round all the way to $39. There's the Medicare tax is, I'm going to go back to blue, $629 times 0.0145. 629 times 0.0145. Okay, $9.12, so pretty straightforward. $20.40 and $12. Okay, so we're going to take all of that. That was for the table. So here is her gross of $629. I'll clear this just to give me some space. I'm going to take away each of these deductions. 40, 22.545, 614, 39, 912, 2040, and $12. Enter. Okay, so her total deductions is $479. Oh no, I'm sorry, I started with her gross. So this is her take-home pay. So I'm going to white that out. So her total is $479.89. What you could do is that mistake that I just made. You could also total her deductions first. So let's say that was kind of easier in my head. I would take the 40 plus, oh, I keep on hitting that. All right, let me clear. Sorry about that. 40 plus 22.45 plus 6.14 plus 39, 912. It's tomato, which means the same difference. All right, so these are the total deductions. So if that kind of is easier for you to take away 149.11, you would take the gross 629 minus 149.11. But you can see you get the same answer. So you could either take the gross less, sorry, let me make this a tiny bit smaller. I guess we're okay. So I could either take this gross right here, less, get an answer. Or you could total these all up and then just subtract once. So you get the same thing. All right. Last one. Marge Farrelly, an administrative assistant for the town hospital, is married and claims one allowance. So we're still on that page. Married with one allowance, and her gross weekly is $707. So $700 on one allowance. I'm always off the grid here. $700 and one allowance. What was her gross? So 52. 707. I was in the wrong. Yeah. Oh no, there it is. Yeah. So there's 52. All right. Hopefully that's getting pretty easy now. So this is going to be 707. Now up here, this was done for us. Now it's just kind of a different little tricky problem. The state tax rate is 2.5%, guys. So you want to multiply it by 0.025. Okay. So 707 times 0.025 is 1768 once you round it. Social Security tax 707 times 0.062. 707 times 0.062 is 4383. And Medicare is back up at the top. Medicare was 0.145. So I'm going to take that gross weekly times 0.0145. So back to my handy calc, 707 times 0.0145. And that is $10.25. So I'll just add these all up. I'm going to clear this. So the total deductions, put those in red, are going to be all this sum across. So I'm going to have 52 plus 1768 plus 4383 plus 1025 plus 24 for a total of 147.76. 147.76. And then I'm going to take that away from the gross to get the net pay. So the goal is to find the net pay of this problem. So 707 less 147.76. Enter. 559.24. That's a decimal point. All right. If you would rather say to yourself, I would rather subtract where am I? Gross minus, and then you'll get that. So either way. All right, that concludes today's video, and your homework is, what are we at? 3.6 homework. 3.6 homework. We're getting there. Have a great day.